Specifically with Nagios, there are some challenges both in scalability for large enterprise customers.
It's been a very pleasant experience to work with Nagios.
We were selling software for about $500 a license, which was thousands of dollars less than our competitors. I remember some of the first customers that bought for $500. I went out and I bought iPods for them. I shipped them iPods as a way of saying thank you. I recognized that early customers were extremely critical to the success of a company, and I wanted to reward them for that. For the first 3 or 4 months, we worked out of the basement, just selling software, just a couple licenses. I made the decision at that point to get our first commercial office space, so I found a place, I leased it for 3 years, which is a big deal. I was worried about, is this thing gonna last for 3 years? Is this company gonna last for 3 years? But I signed a lease on it, and we moved in. I had 2 part-time employees when we moved into that office. Both of them were family. And that's when I started to hire people. I started to hire a salesperson, I hired a developer, some support people, and started to grow the team from there. That first year in 2010, we probably had 5 or 6 people on staff, most of them full-time, some of them part-time, and we started to build the revenue. It was that first year that I was looking at the revenue very closely. I had in my mind the idea that we should hit about $1 million in revenue. And we did just that. We came a few $1,000s short of $1 million our first year, but it was close enough for me. I knew at that point that we were gonna make it, that Nagios was gonna be a success.
There was a lot of kind of jumping in the deep end and just figuring stuff out, and that was part of the expectation, but also that was part of what was cool about it too, was that if something was interesting, you could just dig in and start learning about it.
It felt like a family, really. Everyone was helping, each other. It was amazing. I remember there was a sticker on the wall by the stairs. It said stairway, and someone put a sticky note underneath where it says to heaven. And I was thinking, gosh, that's really how I feel about it. It was stairway to heaven. I mean, it was a dream job for me.
You could tell that it was something special. Like just the feeling of the company, it was special. It was meaningful, and I knew right away, like, for probably the first 2 or 3 years, I felt like I was dreaming and just having an amazing dream, and that I would wake up any second and be like, oh, okay, I don't actually have that awesome job at Nagios. It was just a crazy dream. I'm still a wedding DJ.
When we first moved in here, we got a relatively small suite, suite 165 in the building, and we painted it, made it look as nice as we could. As we grew over the years, we started to accumulate and get more spaces, more rooms in the larger office building here. As soon as we got to about a dozen people, 15 maybe, in our company, I decided let's hold our own Nagios World Conferences right here in the US.
The conferences were really cool just to see how huge Nagios really was, what a long shadow Nagios cast across the IT world. Because we had people from every corner of the globe came to that place, and they all knew Nagios, and they were excited about it.
I never thought we'd be here where we are today. And it's, you'll have to forgive me, because it is emotional when you start out with a project that you work on in your spare time, and you don't think it's gonna go anywhere, and then it does, and you're like, holy shit.
I was becoming more kind of celebrity with Nagios. My face was on the main page of our main product, Nagios XI, for a long time. And it was really funny, on one of the Nagios World Conferences, one of the customers came up to me and says, oh my God, you a real person?
There were, it was just a crowd full of geniuses, and here I am, this fresh sales guy who's gonna give them a presentation about why Nagios is awesome. I kind of felt like an imposter, like, boy, once they start to hit me with questions, what am I going to do? I mean, who knows what these guys are going to ask me? They're super geniuses. Once that presentation was finished and the Q&A was finished, that was the first moment where I thought, okay, now I have a fairly strong foundation to build on to be a proper sales tech. Because if I can do that, then I can demonstrate our software. I can answer the customer's questions. I can really go for it.
The community would learn and then go back, to their respective companies and implement all the things that they learned. And actually, they would spread the word about, everything that they learned and how they're utilizing the tools in different ways.
One of the key things that differentiates Nagios from the competitors is the community and the length and breadth of which the product's been on the market. So, I've got hundreds of customers across Europe that we supply Nagios to. Some of them have been using it nearly as long as I have, so over a decade. There's a lot of community-based plugins that customers rely on, and again, that community is continually innovating. And I don't think a lot of the products that we compete with have that broad community base.